Hey guys, this is Cody, and today I'm going to be doing a review for Don't Go to the Reunion. This DVD was released by Slasher Studios, and the film was directed by Steve Goltz, I think is how you pronounce his last name. But yeah, I've heard about this movie, actually from liking the, Slasher Studios page. And, Slasher Studios is actually a pretty good page. They do a lot of really cool, horror vlogs. They do top 10 lists. They do reviews and stuff like that. So I definitely recommend checking them out. I'll leave a link down below underneath this video for anybody interested in checking out Slasher Studios. But, yeah, I heard about this movie. They were doing a release for it. I also saw Boy19 do a review for this film, and I thought it sounded interesting to me. But basically, what this movie is that it's a complete homage to the classic slasher genre. It basically has the typical slasher story. You know, a bunch of teenagers or a bunch of young adults, go to this house and they end up getting slaughtered. I thought the plot of this movie was pretty good. The movie starts off back in 2004, and you're introduced to this guy named Scott, who is basically a horror nerd. Basically, he spends a lot of his time just sitting in his high school class, just writing, drawing horror pictures of people getting murdered and stuff like that. Like any typical, I think a lot of horror fans have done that at least once in their life. But one of the popular girl in school, whose name is Erica, her and a group of her friends are planning on pulling a prank on Scott. What she does is that she actually writes him a letter asking him to go with her to this up-and-coming dance, which I think is like the end-of-the-year type dance. They're only a few days off from graduating from high school, and of course Scott, he cannot believe that the most popular girl in school just asked him, this goofy horror nerd, to go to the dance. Well, of course, it's just a prank. Actually, what the group of people decide to do is that they actually decide to plant a knife inside of Scott's locker, as well as a note that says, "Oh, I'm gonna kill everybody in this school." And turns out that the principal finds out about it, and Scott is then expelled from high school, and is taken. He ends up going a bit crazy and is taken to an insane asylum. And 10 years has passed, and Erica, she feels really guilty about it. She doesn't like to think about what she's done with Scott. She basically has ruined her life. Well, 10 years had passed, and now she has gotten an invitation to a high school reunion. And at first she really doesn't want to go, but her boyfriend keeps insisting that they do go. Her boyfriend, he seems like a pretty nice guy, and he wants to go with her because he doesn't really know anything about her past. She hasn't told him anything about her high school, her high school years. He doesn't really know anything about her before college, and he really wants to go. And after insisting over and over again, they both decide to finally go. And they end up driving all the way back to where the town they used to live in, to this house. And Erica even mentions that the house that they're at used to be abandoned, and she's not really sure exactly why they would have a reunion of a group of people in a house. Well, when they get there, you're introduced to the other characters. One character's name is Jennifer, who seems to be a really nice friend of Erica, and she seems to be one of the nicest people in the movie, honestly. Everyone else just seems to be typical, stereotypes in some way. There's the jock character, who's a complete douchebag to his girlfriend, calling her a bitch and saying, come down here and suck this, like typical jock type things that you kind of hope that after high school someone would grow out of that phase, and unfortunately some people don't, and that's kind of sad. But then you also got this sort of party type guy who's just really into drinking and stuff like that, and is always getting drunk. And then you're introduced to another character who I cannot remember his name. He wears glasses, and he seems to be the most intelligent of the other people that are there, and seems to be a nice guy. He's a good friend of Erica. But the moment they show up, the goth guy not the goth, the jock guy is giving Erica's boyfriend problems, like, oh yeah, I was with your girlfriend first. We dated for 5 years, not banged her and all that. It's a typical jock thing. And then they started asking about the invitations. Apparently nobody at the party had sent out those invitations, so nobody knows who, who sent the invitations to everyone, except for Jennifer. As the movie goes on, Jennifer talks to Erica, alone in the kitchen, and she says that when she first got to the house, she found a note from Scott saying that, he's going to get revenge on everybody there. Which, this was one thing about the movie that bothered me. If you found a note from somebody that you used to know was really into like horror films or whatever, and they say that they want to get even with everybody that, was mean to them in high school and wants to kill them, wouldn't you get up and leave? I mean, that scene really didn't make much sense to me. I'm not sure why she decided to stay. I guess to warn the others, but still, why didn't she warn everybody? Why is she just telling the Erica character? But she pretty much, she also finds all of Scott's drawings, and they're basically all of the characters in the film. It's all of them getting murdered. And, of course she starts, there's a bit of a cliche scene where she says, oh, he's going to come back and he's going to kill us off all one by one, or what have you. And that, again, was something that it kind of bothered me. It just seemed kind of cliche to say, but as, these typical slasher movies go, no one else believes that Scott is coming back, and they all start getting knocked off one by one. This is as far as I'm going to go. Now, I'll give my thoughts on the movie. Personally, I thought this movie was okay, but it really is just a typical slasher movie. I like the idea of, the character being into horror films and then him coming back and getting even with all the, the people that bullied him. But to be honest, there really wasn't much new to the storyline. I thought the acting was pretty decent for the most part. There is some good gore in it as well. There's about 2 or 3 good gory scenes that I thought they were pretty decent. They weren't anything mind-blowing or whatever, but I thought that they were pretty decent for what they were. What else? Also, there is a bit of a twist, like there normally is, but I will say that's probably my favorite part of the movie is the twist, because I did not see the twist actually coming. It kind of comes out of left field, and when it does, I really did appreciate it. I thought that it added something good to the story. Was the twist at the end, which I think that I'm not going to give anything away, but it is actually a homage to classic slasher films and classic, horror movies in general. And I think that some horror fans, my cat is knocking stuff over, but I think that for some horror fans, it's something that they will enjoy at the very end. But to be honest, I cannot fully recommend this movie. I think it doesn't really bring anything new to the table. You've pretty much seen it before. It's basically a low-budget, independent slasher film. If you do enjoy slasher films, however, I'd say give the movie a chance, but don't expect anything new. And I know that this might sound a bit like a negative review, but I'm just giving my own honest opinion. I'm sure if they switched the story up a bit, maybe if they added something to it, it would have been a bit different. But to be honest, it's just basically a typical slasher, but it's enjoyable. It's not a horrible movie. I enjoyed it for the most part. I'd say it's a decent film. So yeah, if Don't Go to Reunion sounds interesting, I'd say check it out. I believe it's on sale at Slasher Studios for only $10. So if you can find it for that much, I'd say pick it up, but don't expect to be blown away by it or anything like that. It's just a, typical independent slasher film. And for anybody who's worked on this movie and is watching this review, I think you guys did a good job. I'm not saying anything bad about whoever did this movie, because I enjoyed it. It was just a good throwback slasher movie, but it didn't, it's not anything that I'd say run out and see, But anyway, guys, that is my review for Don't Go to Reunion. We've got a whole lot more horror reviews and stuff coming up soon, so stay tuned for those. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.